Music for global change. Creating music that inspires the world. Welcome to the Music for Global Change broadcast. And now here's your hosts, founder and music ambassador Skyler, Jett, with Deborah, Fennella and Tony Go.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to start a revolution? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to start a revolution?
Greetings, namaste, welcome to the Music for Global Change broadcast. So we're really blessed because we've got literally the amazing, talented, multi-Grammy Award singer, songwriter, ambassador for Music for Global Change. Awesome, Skyler Jett. Hi, Skyler.
Hey, Skyler, hi.
And another awesome celebrity, multi-talented, jazz and social conscious music producer, Bryant Jackson. So good evening to both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on our show this evening. We're really excited and blessed to have you both here, and also to continue our conversations about music for global change. Now, Skyler does amazing work, you know, bringing more awareness globally about music for global change and people waking up how, you know, profound healing can make a massive big shift across the planet and heal the planet, but also heal humanity as well, Brian. So thank you so much, and also Skyler for being here today live on the show, which is really exciting. I see also, Brian, you're in the studio yourself. So have you been busy composing this afternoon?
I'm like, ever since the pandemic, I hardly ever leave this room.
Really?
Oh, bless you. You've been very busy then.
More than one reason. What do you say?
You've been very busy then, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I like the studio. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I've learned a lot.
You certainly have it, and you work with some amazing people like Skyler has as well. You know, when I've been reading through your bio, Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder, Will Downing, Gwen Guthrie, Got to Play. Also collaborations with Jill Scott Heron in the 1970s. The Sound of the Jacksons, Rhodes, electric piano and flute accompaniments featured prominently in many of other compositions as well. There's been many celebrities, as I was reading so much about you. You've been very busy also calling the gang as well. I see you've been also recording with those guys. And there's been lots going on, actually, isn't there? You've been very busy, as I was reading about all of the songs that you've produced as well. So congratulations. And Skyler's been telling me so much about you, because you also compose conscious music, don't you? And same as Skyler, your main mission is to bring more awareness of conscious music. So please could you tell our viewers, Brian, when this all sort of like started about, you know, the conscious music and bringing about this positive change globally, and the mission like Skyler is as well, and both of you doing the music, amazing work, please.
Well, I've always believed, we have always believed that music is the one language that everybody understands, you know, intrinsically, intuitively. And so if you want, the best way to get a message across is through music.
Yeah.
And we've always felt that way. And it seems to be working. You know, we just have to keep doing it. We just have to keep at it. But if you want to grab someone's attention, as any Wall Street, as any Madison Avenue in the day, advertisers would let you know it's through music.
In the UK right now, they've just discovered the fact that music is a healer. In fact, they're starting to put music now in some of our residential care homes. They're now just suddenly realised that music does help.
Exactly, dogs and music, they work wonders.
Yes, they only just realised that in the UK, believe it or not. That the fact that, well, hey, let's try some music for the elderly and see how we get on, and it's working. And they've only just
What a
realised that.
surprise.
They've only just realised that.
Yeah.
Especially if
I
they've got
know that.
Alzheimer's or dementia as well, because if someone's got Alzheimer's and dementia, they'll immediately remember a song if you
That's
start
right,
singing
yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
I went down to see my best friend over the weekend, and her mum's got Alzheimer's, and she was hardly speaking at all the whole time I was there. But the minute I started singing opera or contemporary songs, she just like really looked alert. And she listened and she just smiled and she interacted. So it just shows how profound and powerful music is
That's the
within
reason
our
why
lives. Hey,
music, yeah.
Skyler.
Yeah.
True. Can you give us a little sample of that?
But which
Some of
particular
the
song?
opera that you sing? All right.
I need to warm my voice up a little bit more. Are you going to give us a little sample? I'll sing along with you, Brian, if you like. We've just been singing in the studio, actually, haven't we?
A little bit.
You've got a friend of me, we've been singing, haven't we?
One of my favourite songs is Bill Withers' "Lean on Me." It's one of my
Oh.
favourite songs.
Well,
Absolutely
Oh, man, I
fantastic
love
song.
that.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
classic.
Bill Withers, I don't know if he still does, but does he hold the record for the longest note held during a song?
It could be. It could be. I've tried to hold that note many a time. But you know, I have.
Has he still got the record?
Firmly in the ground. A lovely day.
Yeah, yeah. Has he still got the record for that note being held? Yeah, he had the record in
I would
music
say
history.
so.
Yeah.
I've tried it a couple of times. I don't know about you, Skyler.
But imagine, man, you got to go on a 60-day tour doing that note every night like that. Right?
That's what I thought. It's one thing to do it in the studio.
It's a lot of breath.
After you've done a month on the road, and then
Yeah.
It's a lot of breath. I mean, even with opera, you've got to literally
hold the
warm
note
up
for
for
2
10
seconds.
minutes when you do opera, you see. Whereas contemporary, you don't need to warm up for quite so long,
Yes.
do you? So when you're doing that long note, you are actually singing on that breath. So you have to take a lot of breath and expand the diaphragm in order to do that. So he's obviously done a lot of vocal training himself
He
too,
must have done, yeah.
in order
yeah.
to actually do it.
clearly,
Yeah.
Yes,
he had
definitely.
a great voice, and he also inspired us quite a bit.
Oh,
You know,
did
our
he?
writing and the down home quality of his lyrics and his persona was
Yes.
something that really inspired us.
Well, those are those ones that there's a different sound. There's people that go to school for music, but there are people who were born to do it.
Yes,
That's a different sound,
most definitely.
and you know them when you hear them. You know what
Yes.
I mean? That's why I say don't take image out of music, because the way you look has nothing to do with your
No.
sound.
Which is so true, Skyler, isn't it?
And I try to tell these kids, music was here before computers. They don't want to never believe
No.
it.
No, that's right.
They're more into the computers, but they're coming around to the music now because they do sing, obviously live in their bedrooms. I see it quite a lot on YouTube. A lot of people do, don't they? And it's really good
Yeah.
to watch them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the best part about it is, like, if we can get young people around, because see, the four of us right here, we know music before computers.
Yes.
Like I said, if the keyboard player didn't show up, you didn't have keyboards. Or if the bass player didn't show up, now they got that in one keyboard.
That's right,
So
yeah.
so man starts believing I can be an orchestra now, and I don't need anybody else,
No.
right? It is totally different fingering too. You know, like I tell people the sound of it too. Like when they sample a saxophone, and then you go, it's nothing like that sound from the bell of the saxophone where the microphone is, right?
Yeah.
There's some air going on in that. And so the man is trying to sample it, but you can't get that sound.
No. We call it the raw sound.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying by your instrument. And I've said this, you can get 3 great guitar players to play Ibanez, the guitar,
Hmm.
right? And because of their sound, you know who they are.
Yes. Which is true, isn't it?
It's
That's
all
a-
about mastering the technical and physical limitations of the
Yes.
instrument. Everybody has their own approach to that.
Yeah, but the instrument that you have, when you play it, it sounds totally different to somebody else, even though it's the same instrument.
Yeah. It's your signature, isn't it?
That's how people knew how people sound with. Oh, I know who that is, and they can't see them.
No.
No.
But same as
On the
like when you're
radio-
singing vocally, isn't it, Skyler? Because you know, when you're actually finding your vocal range, that's when you can establish whether you're an alto, mezzo, soprano, you know, or a tenor. Or top soprano, so it's finding your range. The same as when you're actually learning to play an instrument. Everyone will learn their technique of playing that instrument, won't they?
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. Bryant has he has a sound of his own, right? And he's built that sound for all these years, and it's how he plays and the emotion coming out of his body into that instrument. You know, it's fascinating to me because I love it because it doesn't matter if you can see anybody or not.
No.
You know how they sound, right?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We'd actually love to hear you, Brian, if you want to sing us a little bit, if you like. We'll join in with you if you like. If you sing a song that we know. What do you think?
Just sing a couple of bars. That'd be good.
What's your favourite song, Brian?
We'll wrap up the show.
Okay,
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Okay, I want to ask my brother, my ex-brother-in-law, who I love so much. You know, Brian and my sister were married, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember you saying earlier, bless you.
We're talking over 40 years ago. Right?
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
bless them.
and so it's wonderful, you know. It's wonderful that we can see each other after all these years.
Yes.
You know, but at the same time, Brian gave me my first piano.
Good.
Oh, did you, Brian?
No. Yeah, well.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
Was
That's
that
a lovely gift to give as well. You must have been over the moon, Skyler, receiving a piano as a gift. I think I would as well. My fingers are a bit small, actually, to play the piano. I did try and learn, but she said my fingers were too small. And I was going like that. So I need long fingers. So I took up guitar instead. That's what she said to me. She said, your fingers are too little. So then I started learning guitar instead.
Don't listen. Don't listen to it.
But I did all my grades in singing, so that wasn't too bad. Bless you.
So here, but I want you to know who he is, though, because, you know, he's a pioneer for me, right? Because he was doing, back in the 70s, he was doing social conscious music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so Brian, tell us what because everybody else doing these love songs, you guys doing stuff to actually change the world. Man. How did that feel?
I mean, we didn't know it at the time. All we knew is that I was 18 and Gil was like 21. What did we know about love? We couldn't write about love songs. We didn't know anything about it. So either we were going to just mimic what we had heard from other people or write from our own experiences as young black men growing up in New York and growing up in America and some of the observations that we made about our lives and about the lives of our friends, you know, the people and our parents and our relatives. So that's what we wrote about. We also were conscious of some of the changes that were going on in America, good and bad, and many of them needed to be addressed because there was a move by the media to kind of camouflage those things and to kind of hide them and put them behind products, behind the what I was talking about before, the whole Madison Avenue blitz of selling us things that we don't really need but making us feel that we can't do without them. Okay. And so our goal was to kind of bring more to the forefront some of the issues that were important to us that made made a difference in our lives, and hope to draw out some of the feelings and some of the thoughts of like-minded people. And to that end, we thought, well, if Madison Avenue can use soul music to sell burgers, then maybe we can use that same music to sell revolutionary thought and revolutionary ideas.
What was it that
the beautiful part was some of that music you guys wrote helped stop the Vietnam War, along with John Lennon, you know, Imagine, and Marvin Gaye, What's Going On, and Curtis Mayfield, and all of them. It's really beautiful for me because I saw what happened I was a youth then, you know, and to see how powerful music was. That's what we need to do with racism right now, right?
Yeah.
It's like we need a revolution on racism. Man.
Do you think
That's the stupidest thing mankind has ever invented, right? Was racism. And so the beautiful thing is music can do that though, and it's like you were saying.
Yes,
You know,
it can.
do you think that
powerful tool.
way back then, especially you, Brian, when you first started out back then, do you think people were a little bit frightened of the music you were bringing forward? Maybe a little bit scared of it, do you think? Or, hey, we don't recognise this, you know, what kind of stuff is this?
It's all about waking up consciously, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah.
You know, some people are more open consciously, and some other people haven't quite woken up consciously.
See, back in the 70s, that's what I'm saying, back in the 70s, how did they accept it? You know, so I guess somebody might have been a little bit... When I went from the stuff before Elvis did, and Elvis came along, people were thinking, hang about it, this is not right, this is not music, until they accepted it at one point. In the 70s, I think it kind of like that as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
We had a lot of college kids, so it was, I think, maybe since we were young people, we were college age ourselves, and so I suppose at that particular time we were kind of reaching out to other people of our own age, and you know, the fear if that you speak of really came from the establishment.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
because they didn't want this large mass of young people to awaken.
Yeah.
To
The authorities, as we call them.
And that's exactly
the authorities. Yes.
that's exactly what happened. They awakened the young people, right? And the consciousness and stuff like that. A prime example is Woodstock.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yes.
the bands would play a couple of their songs, and then they do a song about how we need to stop this war, right? And I mean, I was a youth when I saw tanks coming down the street in Berkeley in front of tanks in America coming down our own streets, right? It was insane. But the music, the young people stopped that war, and that's what needs to happen again, right? The great thing for us is more people want to get along than people that don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got to keep going in that trend. You know what I mean?
But also kindness is a way forward, Skyler, as well, isn't it? You know, we are one at the end of the day. We all ascend from the star system. But again, everyone needs to sort of wake up consciously and realise, you know, that we are all here on Earth in order to make a difference. And it's lighting the way forward and waking people up with the conscious music, because we are within that conscious music telling a story about the global changes that are taking place and participating on the Earth at the moment. And that's where it basically comes into play massively, really, when you think about it, doesn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, Bryant, I mean, wow. I mean, shoot, you're 18, 19, start playing in huge places. I mean, this ain't clubs no more, right? And so that music was resonating.
It was, yes.
I think it was refreshing because everybody's doing, come on, baby, let's go shake or whatever like that, right? And these guys are like, you know what? You guys better open your eyes, see what's going on around you. You know what I mean?
That's it. I mean, we were just following the tradition of the African griot.
Yeah.
This is what we saw as our function. You know, there is music to enjoy. There's music for all types of occasions, for parties, for weddings, you know, for funerals, for all types of things. And there needs also to be music for consciousness, for awakening, to spread news and awareness. You know,
global change.
Yes, and this is what we thought ourselves. So we wrote songs about. We did write love songs, but I will tell you that because we wrote love songs about humanity.
Yeah.
We wrote, you know, I mean, we didn't write love songs like, you know, my hey baby, ooh baby, baby. But we wrote love songs about, you know what? This is about unity. This is a song about coming together.
That's right.
To heal the problems that we as a race, as a human race, are experiencing, like the proliferation of nuclear power plants, for instance. That was obviously going to be harmful to us. So why not talk about that?
I guess that the change came when you took the music to the streets in them era of the 70s and that. When you took the music to the streets, changed everything really, didn't it?
I think it. Yeah, I think it did. I think it did. I mean, we felt that we should just write the music. I mean, there were a lot of ways to fight.
Yeah.
And we felt that our best way was through our creativity and through the voice that we had started to develop.
The part I love the most is when I go to your concert, it's loads of people, right? So it resonated. And you guys didn't even have the internet. Imagine if you'd had the internet back then.
I know, it'd be phenomenal, wouldn't it, really? I mean, what I'm really interested in, Brian, what was the very first song that you actually wrote about conscious music, and what was it actually about, please?
Well, the very first song that Gil and I wrote together was at college. We had just met, and he had played a song for me that he was intending, that he had written for Victor Brown, who was another classmate of ours, who ended up being in the Midnight Band with us for several years. But it was a tremendously powerful song. It sounded like somebody twice his age had written it. At the time, he was 19.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I had been gathering up a bunch of music that I had intended to write lyrics to, but with the speed of how I write lyrics, it was definitely going to take me like another 5 to 10 years. So I had a song for him. I said, "Hey man, what do you think you can do with this?" And so I played the song for him. And after the song was over, he asked me this question. He said, "Well, what were you thinking about? What were you feeling about that song? What is that song trying to say, in your opinion?" You know. And this is a methodology that we continued throughout our writing career. And I told him, I had to think about it for a second. And I said, well, when I was writing it, I was kind of thinking about, it was kind of a tribute to the people who came before us, the Crispus Attucks, the W.E.B. Du Bois, the Malcolm X's, and these type of people. And it was just a song where I raised my glass to them, because without them, we wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love it.
And he played the song again. I played the song for him again, and he took out his pen, because he never wrote in pencil, because he never had road rage anymore. And he just wrote it, and I played it a couple of more times, and thus was born our first song. It was called "A Toast to the People."
Oh, I love the title. You must have been so overwhelmed and excited once you completed that song and then launched it as well. And then to see what reaction you then would get from the population when they heard the song on the radio and through TVs also.
Yeah.
But the beautiful thing is like, look at that title, right? A toast to the people. That's not to them.
No, it's to the people.
They're sharing.
Yes.
Right? That's what needs to spread. Is
Yes.
the sharing, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Can I just jump in there for a second?
We're about.
Sorry, Arno is just signing in now.
Arno
just signing in, so say hello to Arno.
Yeah, he's trying to hook it up, man.
I think we got.
We got Arno.
There we go.
Yes, we got Arno.
There we go.
Hi, Arno.
What's up,
How are
brother?
you?
Hey.
Hi. Well, welcome to the show. Now, we're really blessed to have you on the show as well, Arno, because you're a humanitarian, also a music producer, and you do phenomenal work, as well as Skyler and also Bryant. So we're really blessed to have you on the show today to talk about conscious music. Now, when did it all start for you to, going down that path of conscious music and writing conscious music to bring global change?
Well, this is something that we kind of grew up with, and it made its way from one place to the other, and through different people that we met and people that influenced us. You decide to be on one side of the music or the other side. Sometimes it's the positive thing, and other times, you want to make a statement in terms of what you might feel is maybe counterproductive, going on in not only the United States, but all over the world.
Yes.
So, being lucky enough to write songs with people like Al Jarreau, and, who I spent a great deal of time with. We're actually, there's a CD that's being released to the memory of Al Jarreau. And it's Larry Williams and my friend Chris Walker. We were all in Al's band for about 6 years together. And it's Phil and Gaines and all the guys around it, man. It's really beautiful. So that's coming out. But, when you get a chance to be around people like that, and, there's other great songwriters, I've had a chance to witness what the process is. And, I was talking to my son about this, and he's getting into it now. As a matter of fact, the last couple things that we've done, he's been quite instrumental on. And we were talking about it, and I said, there's songs that I've written that maybe did well, maybe some didn't do well, but you put the message across.
Yes.
And the thing that most songwriters that I know, obviously you want to write a great song, but it's the process.
Mm-hmm. It is.
It's all about the process.
Yeah.
And once you have that and you understand what it is for you in terms of finding the sound that you want.
And I think also, Arno, it's what message do you want to send out to this world? Because
Sure.
we're all born with our unique gifts, and you've been blessed with many gifts yourself, and you are a messenger. All of you are messengers for your music and the amazing work that you do. You're all very spiritual people. Same as myself, I'm very spiritual as well. And I dedicate my life to be of service, and also a singer-songwriter myself. So it is wonderful to chat to all of you and hear about all amazing work that you are doing, but also to bring more awareness across the globe about music for global change, and to also encourage the youngsters to get more involved with music for global change, to bring about positive change across the globe as people are waking up consciously. And that's where the music, comes into play, doesn't it?
Right, it does. And, you're right about the, you have to give up some of your soul to do this.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
It's
And
dedication.
it is without question, a labor of love. Again, depending on the message you want to convey, then you take off on that road, and you find the words, you find the right phrases that you want to use. And the great thing about working with my son, who's just turned 15, I get a view from where he's coming from, which is a much younger view, obviously. And just recently, just a few things that he laid on me, and I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me sit back here. You talk to me, because I'm learning from him now. And you're right, with the younger kids, he sees it from a different place.
They
But
certainly do.
At the same time, we're sitting in the car the other day, and Bobby Caldwell's "What You Won't Do for Love" came on the radio, and he sat back and he went, "Man, I love this song."
Oh, did
Man, I
he?
love this song."
Oh, bless
And
him.
he just gets it from that place.
Yes.
But the young kids also are listening to, and they're going back to, you can see some of the things that are being released, they're going back to the 80s, they're going back to
They
the
are.
60s and grabbing that and bringing it, because it was just, for me, the best popular music that was ever written from the 60s through maybe the mid 80s.
Yes, I would agree. And very poignant messages as well from each individual
messages.
composer and singer, to be honest. But I think as the world is changing and people are waking up, the music is changing as well in a positive way. And a lot more people now want to, relay that message that they want to send out to this world, where they want more peace, they want more harmony, they want more love, they want more understanding, and they want to realise that the world is a safe place and is not a place to be fearful of. And I think that's a real big message at the moment, as we've been for the pandemic, because a lot of people are still scared, they're still afraid, and this is where music really comes into play and is so important at this moment in time. What is God's message for the earth? with regards to this process of change that's taken place with the ascension and the 3D reality and the fifth dimension. So there's a lot going on at the moment, which is really exciting with the planetary changes, but also the way the world's changing and humanity's changing and waking up consciously. And this is where the music now is becoming even more powerful, because of people thinking, hey, you know, I'm waking up now, I'm listening to this song, I'm understanding why I'm here, what my purpose is, what am I meant to be doing here on earth. And it's really exciting as that light bulb moment when people wake up. And it can just be through listening to one of your amazing songs, each of you, that then they get that light bulb moment. I get it now. I get why I'm here. I get what my purpose is. I get what I need to do. And this is where each and every one of you come into play and do an amazing, phenomenal work. And I'm really proud of all of you. I'm really blessed that Tony and I, you know, are chatting to you today about music for global change.
And it's beautiful. I mean, now, Brian, you have new music out?
Oh yeah, I'm glad you asked. So I have worked on a project. It was a few years back now. I think it was 2019. It was a couple of years ago, with Adrian Young and Ali Shahi Muhammad of Tribe Called Quest, and we got together to do an album in Los Angeles on a new label that Adrian and Ali are affiliated with, called Jazz Is Dead. And so there's a single that just came out called Mars Walk, and that's available, and it's leading up to the release of the album that comes out in August.
And what's the storyline behind it as well, Brian? The actual song.
Sorry?
What's the actual story behind the song, and the message that you're portraying out to the world, please?
Well, you know, first of all, when you listen to it, it definitely sounds a bit otherworldly. I mean, the first thing that I thought of was it reminded me of a landscape that could have been on Mars. But when on reflection, after I started thinking a little bit more, you know, I started thinking about the song "Whitey on the Moon" that Gil Scott Heron wrote 50 years ago, and I began to reflect on the fact that, you know, not only has the race in space expanded to Mars, and it just so happened that there was a lot of development going on towards that. And ironically, the week after the release of Mars Walk was when we got the news that Jeff Bezos and his brother were taking an interstellar flight. They were actually Bezos had built a whole rocket designed for him to travel in space.
Wow,
So
amazing.
Whitey on the Moon part 2 is called Mars Walk.
Well, we can all go for only $28 million. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's all it takes.
That's some chump change or somebody.
you know, you get
Exactly
make
that.
sure you get receipts, and you know what it is.
That's all.
Yeah.
Just charge it, you know, and then you won't have to pay any taxes.
So would you like to go to Mars then, Brian?
No,
If the opportunity
I
arose,
would
of
like
course.
to. No, you know what? I mean, let me put it this way. I don't want to have to go to Mars.
No. What
No.
do you mean?
I mean, not because the Earth has burnt up. You know,
Yes.
I'd like to have the option, you know,
Yes.
to stay on the Earth, which I will probably exercise.
Yes.
If at all possible.
Yeah.
Arno, same question, man. What do you have? I think well, your video is awesome, man. Like, I love the consciousness of it. You know me. That's where I'm at, and I'm trying to get more people
Well, you know,
to get involved.
the one we did before this one was fairly political, and it was something that I had to do just to get it out of my system. You guys know, as songwriters, sometimes you just have to write it
Yes.
and then say it, and okay, now I can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, with that one, I sent you that video too, High Crimes and Misdemeanors. But this most recent one, my son came in and he said, you know, Dad, I know the last thing we did was personal for you. He said, but we need to do something that's going to put smiles on people's faces.
So true.
This coming from a 15.
Oh, bless him. He's very spiritual by the sounds of things. Your son too.
Well,
He
you
must
know,
be so
he's
proud.
grown up around Al Jarreau and Gladys and all the different people that I work with.
Yes.
But so we had this for some time, and I have 3 other writers. One is in Paris, one is in Japan, and one is in Texas. And so I've written a bunch of songs for the Asian market with all of these guys. And they're the guys who participate in the videos and everything that we do. This is my team, and well, our team, and so came up with Jerome came up with everybody this, everybody that, and so we kind of went with it and scoped it out, and then did the video and storybooked that out and everything, and it really turned out well. I think it just passed like 60,000 views.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
In a few weeks. So, you get a chance, take a look at that, and it really speaks to just the feeling that we were talking about earlier about people being awakened.
Yes.
People understanding that, it's not just about me or you, it's about everybody that's
It is.
And the more that we get everybody involved in that way, that's a certain kind of power that you can't put a dollar amount on it. You just can't.
I was saying earlier, the good thing is more people want to get along than people that don't.
Yes,
truly
that's so
believe
true.
that.
It's now. That is so true.
You know what I mean? I mean, so people get it, man. You're only here for a short time. If you live to 100, that's remarkable, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
So in that 100 years that we was here, there was somebody in charge of everything. For decades, it's always going to be somebody in charge, right? And that's the cool thing about it. Like, spread the love, man. I mean, like, it pisses me off every time I think about Bill Gates got a $644 million yacht, right?
Yeah.
Could help a lot of people, Skyler, couldn't it, across the globe?
I go to Africa, so I saw some of the shanty towns and some places, and I looked up this business. And they build houses, $4,000, a 2-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Oh, bless
They
them.
can build them in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's amazing, isn't it?
So when you look at $1 million,
Yes.
that was 250 homes for
Can help a lot
somebody
of
who's never
people.
had a home before.
Exactly.
That's a single village on its own, isn't it?
It is.
One single village.
What he got 644 a yacht.
I know.
He ain't even gonna be on the yacht all year, right?
No.
No.
And $1 billion would make 250,000 homes.
But it's a
Yeah.
different world. It's a material world, Brian, isn't it, at the end of the day? And unfortunately, a lot of people still resonate in that material world rather than, through compassion and empathy and love, which is far more powerful, really, isn't it? How we can make a difference of helping each other.
When you think about what you can do to help people,
Exactly.
it's not hard, right?
It's not, no. Kindness is the way forwards.
We drive by $1 million homes right around here, $2 or $3 million homes. Only 2 people live in there.
Yeah.
If they downsize just 1 million, they can buy 250 homes for people
Yes.
that never had a home.
And still have a £1 million home.
And now they got some dignity, right?
Yeah.
And since the home is only $4,000, you can pay that off, and you'll
Yes.
always have a home, right?
And also helping the homeless as well, Skyler, because there's a lot of homeless people still, living on the streets, and it's supporting and bringing more awareness of helping the homeless. I mean, that's why I wrote that charity song, Homeless at Christmas, and it was about a homeless man that I met, and I fed him on the streets, and the next day he'd frozen to death in the freezing cold, and there was police around his body, and I wrote a song, how he felt living on the streets, and the people walked past it as if he was invisible, but all he wanted was a place to call home at Christmas. So that's when I wrote that song to bring awareness of homelessness worldwide.
No, it's obscene how much some people have that they have wealth that they'll never be able to use for anything.
Their grandkids won't be able to spend it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
You see, you come here, Brian, with nothing, and you go with nothing, because you can't take the money through the pearly gates, can't you? You can't take your home through the pearly gates, so you're more known for the good that you do on the earth plane rather than how much money you have on the earth plane, because it's what difference that we can make in this world that we're noticed for far more than how much money we got in the bank.
That's why writing these social conscious songs, and you know, music travels faster than everything else.
It does.
Yeah, you have all the internet you want, but you know, like I say, I always go, imagine Martin Luther King with the internet.
Yes. He would have loved it. Wouldn't he? He was phenomenal.
Okay. Right? So I mean, it travels everywhere, and I've told this many times. It's pretty simple. If there's 7 billion people on the planet, at least 1 billion of them has picked up a guitar or
Yes.
played it, or maybe played in the club and stuff like that. So what I want to do is ask musicians for $25 a month, right? That's $25 billion a month.
Yes.
If you just get $25 from all the working musicians, I ain't even talking about the rich ones, right?
Mm.
And we have a co-op, and now we can take care of each other.
Yes.
If a musician, your family died, we pay for the funeral.
Mm.
You need a car, we can pay everything.
See, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Who are we waiting for? Right?
Well, that's forward thinking, and you know that's what we need more of.
Yes.
Obviously, I you know, it gets down to the programming that we have all had as children and in adolescence, and
It
then
does.
where we are now. And you either get to that point in your life where, you know, one day you look in the mirror and you know what, you say, there's some things that I don't believe in anymore, in
Right.
terms of what you've been taught to
Yes.
get to what you are. And, you know, you start to shed that. And as you shed that, and as writers, you know, obviously we're able to write about that, and that in itself can lead you to the place where, like with these songs that we write, it's like having the conversation, you know, without pinning somebody in the corner so they feel like, oh, you know, but they're hearing the words, they're hearing the music, and all of a sudden they're hearing the message. What we've been taught is something that over time, hopefully people get to the point in their life where they're able to shed some of those things and actually look at life for, you know, what it is, what's actually real, and rather than the stuff that they hit you over the head with constantly to make you think that, you know, like you say, the material thing. And once you get into that world, I mean, there's nothing that's going to do in terms of making you a better human being.
No.
You know, to use that, I mean, my grandmother used to say, you know, talking about people with money, she'd say, well, you never see anybody going to the graveyard with a U-Haul behind the hearse.
That is so true. That is so true.
In other words, you can't take it with you.
Now, I
No.
always say that to my children, you can't take it with you. It's all on loan at the end of the day, isn't it? You know, so it's always good to have a grateful heart and be grateful for everything that we have in our life and the people that we have in our life as well. And it's paying that gratitude forwards and reminding everyone else that to be grateful for where they are in their lives, for what they have in their lives and the people that are in their lives as well. And the more that you're grateful, more good things that come in. And it also expands your heart chakra as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, nothing feels better than being able to, you know, it's like Christmas. If we could just have Christmas like, well, I do every day. It's that feeling, right?
Yes.
I mean, you know, you think a little lighter, you give a little easier. You know, at that time of year, you know, you have the hope and the, you know, all that goes along with that. That's a good thing. And, you know, if we can just have that frame of mind, hold on to that rather than, you know, get into the thing of like, oh, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And, you know, that's good. But the best feeling I've ever had, thanks, sorry.
That's Hollywood.
You know, when you are giving to anyone, you know,
Yeah.
you just give from your heart, and there's nothing like it. I mean, there's absolutely nothing like it.
And also giving not on a condition, but giving because you want to give. And the more that you give, you receive back. Because when you do something good for somebody else, it makes you feel good about yourself. And also you do incur good karma as well. You know, unfortunately, some people, they give on a condition. I'll do this for you, however you got to do this for me. Well, that's on a condition. Whereas you give because you genuinely want to help somebody. It's not on a condition. It's from the heart. and you generally want to help people. And I think
That's
that is
the
so
best music.
important, and a poignant message, again, send out to this world. Let's help and support one another, you know, and let go of the ego self and stay more centered in the heart and expand our consciousness. And then we will shift our vibrational frequency, and we will resonate more and a more level of understanding as well. To again, kindness, compassion, and love and peace is a way forwards.
Sure.
That's the only.
Hey,
That's
Tony.
the message here. 7 billion of us, 7.5 billion of us here on this planet.
Right.
And we have to figure out a way to all maintain here.
Most
You know,
definitely. And we're all
it
learning
won't-
from each
It won't
other.
happen unless we let go of that ego that you said. and
Yes,
that
it's so true.
sense of me first kind
Yes.
of an attitude, you know, because we won't. If there's 7.5 billion people all wanting to be first, we're just all going to run into you. We're all going to collide,
Most definitely.
and everything just falls apart.
Yeah.
So no, I
Right,
totally-
but just think if that was the programming, exactly what you're saying. That should be the program.
Yes.
But you know, the programming has been, you know, to sort of single people out and push you aside and like don't let you have the ability to all get together like this, because if that happens, that's a whole lot of power. And
It certainly is.
I'm not sure the people running things really want to see that.
No, I certainly wouldn't want to be there either.
But that would be a big shift, again, consciously, but also globally as well. Because the more people that do come together and realise that we are all one, and we're in this big school of life to learn from one another, again, the more people that are waking up and we shine our lights together, if you were from space and saw that light, it would be phenomenal. And it would be so bright on the earth, and people don't realise how bright that they do shine on this earth. Because like you say, going back to past conditioning, act a certain way, behave a certain way, dress a certain way, look a certain way, you know, and unfortunately so many people have been conditioned, like you say, going back
Yeah,
through
programmed,
childhood
aren't they? Yeah.
and school, you know, or from friends or the bullies, and they lose themselves. It is okay to be different, just be you. You don't need to seek outside approval, just love who you are and be the best that you can be, and help and be kind to those around you. And even those that do bad things, they are hurting inside, pray for them. Because the more we pray for the bad people, we bring about a positive change in this world. Rather than condemning them, if we pray for them, that's how we will have that big shift across the planet. Because prayer is phenomenal, as powerful as music is as well.
See, they're programmed. The minute they come into this world,
Yes.
they are programmed from day one. You should be like this, you should be like that, we should do this, we should do that. There's no room there for change. There's no room
No.
for reprogramming. And when the time comes, you're able to reprogram something, it's too late.
Well, it's never too late. I disagree there. It's
Yeah,
never too
yeah.
late, because you can be the change that you want to be and you want to see in this world. But your first primary relationship's with you first, how you see yourself, before how those around you see yourself. So see yourself through the eyes of love and compassion, and let go of the ego self and the judgment, or the judgments upon the others that have imposed upon you, that have knocked your confidence, self-esteem and your self-worth, that you lose your identity. You know, it's understanding that we are all unique. We are all different, you know, and we can make a difference in this world. But learning to love ourselves, and as we learn to love ourselves, we can teach those around us to love themselves too. And again, it's that ripple effect of unconditional love
See, that's why
going
music-
forwards across
that's
the
why
planet. And that's where the
music-
music comes in, Skyler, isn't it? Like you say, with conscious music for global change. It's about love. Peace is the answer, like you often say, Skyler. Peace and love is the answer to bring
That's
healing
why
and
the
positive change.
Music is the most important thing.
Yes,
That's why music is the best delivery of anything.
It is.
Because it has emotion, right?
it does. Most
and if the
definitely.
lyrical content is around healing, education, and solving problems,
Yes.
right? So when I go to speak to young people, the first thing I say to them is like, you can write. I tell you what, write all the love songs you want this month, but just one day, write a song about something you would change.
Yes.
He has an imagination, right? About that. And the cool thing is when they start writing about things they could change and come up with titles like that, and
Yes.
call me, and as soon as they call me, hey Skyler, I know what they're about to say. Right? I wrote a social conscious song, man, and I played it for my friends, and they really love it, man. I'm falling in love with it. This is cool,
Yes.
man. It sets them out on a whole nother path, right? Now, if we get enough people, that's my thing, is to travel the world and connect people with each other and to collaborate, right? It's the same 12 notes from Bach to rock,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter which way you want to go. Just make it sound the best you can, right? But with the 7 billion people, just like Brian was saying, you have to go find your own audience. But that's what we can do today, is find our own audience, right? And we didn't have that before. You had to depend on a record label and all this other. You don't have to do that anymore,
No.
right?
No.
And also your plans for the future, Skyler, is, again, like we said last time, was to do festivals for music for global change up and down the country and all over the world. And again, that's another big, huge, powerful message you're sending out to the world, but you're also healing the world. You're healing humanity through those festivals. And that's your plans for the future, isn't it? It will be huge, most definitely.
Because the thing about it, people are tired of bad news.
They are. They want good news, and there's so much good going
yeah.
on in the world. But we want to hear more about it, and that's again why we do these shows, to bring more awareness. There's so many good things and so many amazing songs out there that a lot of people maybe never heard of, until we talk about it.
Or artists and artists, right? You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yes.
Arno and Bryant's been on millions of records, and they're going to be here for way after we're done, after we die. Our
Yes.
music will still be here on this planet, right?
But also, Skyler,
Okay.
do you remember the song that you sent me as well? And we did mention last time about getting, adults and children singing, parts of your song and turn it into a music video where they will be singing all over the world your song. And again, it's all about music for global change. So we can, really move forwards with that. And then obviously get all of you involved in it, and whoever else you want to get involved in it, and let's rock this world at the end of the day with music for global change.
I love it. Listen, Brian and Arno are going to get you some of the music, and if you can attach it to the end of this, right, so people can go,
Oh, that'd be
that's
amazing.
who was talking. That's who was spilling that knowledge, right? I want to say this before I go. Today would have been my mom's 99th birthday.
Oh, happy birthday to your mum in heaven, Skyler.
That's okay, but I wanted to let her know that I'm in good hands.
Oh, you certainly are. And she's your guardian angel watching over you every single day, Skyler. And she's very proud of you. I know she is, from the realms of spirit.
Bless you all.
Bless
Thank
you.
you.
God bless you all. Oh, thank you so much. And keep shining bright. Keep up the good work. You're all doing amazing work. And so, and we're so proud of you all.
We are, yeah.
We'd like to thank our guests, Bryant Jackson, Arno Lucas, and remember, music can save the world.
Save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.